It is Thursday, October 17th. Welcome to this edition of Game on Hockey. My name is Graham Mosimann, where we get into all the most interesting stories across the NHL in 10 minutes or less. Now, last night was a fascinating night in the NHL. The Toronto Maple Leafs had a very un-Toronto Maple Leaf type game as Craig Berube kind of showing a lot of what he's supposed to do with this team. When LA started to make a little bit of a comeback, when the Leafs were up by a score of 5-2, this guy calls a timeout, gathers the Leafs together, tells them to basically wake the F up, and gosh darn it, they do it. And the Leafs end up taking the game by a score of 6-2. If you want the really in-depth, super cool, smart person breakdown of that particular game, you can head over to our pals over at Game on Toronto to get the full rundown on last night's game. Austin Matthews as well scoring his first goal, which I know Leafs nerds were extremely excited about. It was a bit of an odd shot though, because he goes in, whiffs it, and then after a second attempt ends up putting it away. And of course, this will ultimately mean that his career is going to go thermonuclear. He's going to score more goals than Alexander Ovechkin and be a better hockey player than the combination of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, all potentially by the very end of the week. So that's really exciting. We're really happy for that to happen for you Leafs fans, mostly because it takes away from a very weird story about John Tavares that we're going to get to in just a quick second here. But first, I want to tell you all about Hyperdrive Hockey. It is the flagship show here on the Game Over Network with Maxine and Daphne, where in the most recent episode, Max had to make an apology to not just Winnipeg Jets fans, but the entire province of Manitoba. It's a really good one. It's a really great episode. I love the perspective that duo brings to bring a little bit of a different light on hockey than some of us may be used to. But hey, let's get back to John Tavares for just a second. Deeply weird man. A lot of kale smoothies kind of guy. But as this story comes up the other day, he is a sponsor, like a celebrity endorser of this weird health amulet that Russell Brand, the deeply weird and unsettling comedian, it's the same thing he kind of loves. It's been sponsored by people who are like vaccine deniers, and have some real weird opinions about health. So that's cool for John Tavares. That's deeply strange and unsettling also. Are you just getting weird because you're not the captain anymore, John? What's going on here? You good, boo? I hope you're okay. In somewhat less weird and somewhat unsettling news, you maybe caught the story a little while ago that Bob Dylan, of all people, he tweeted out that he ran into some Buffalo Sabres players and they invited him to go to a game, but he said no because he was, busy. Being Bob Dylan. Cards on the table. I did not realize Bob Dylan was still alive. Turns out he is. Good for you, Bob. I really hope all those concerts you do with all that mumble singing is really fun and cool. But the Buffalo Sabres did an expose to figure out who on their team was actually the person to meet Bob Dylan. And it's honestly some of the best work that an NHL social media team has done all year.
Did you invite Bob Dylan to a hockey game?
I did not. I need to get to the bottom of this. They didn't do a good job.
Have you ever been in an elevator with Bob Dylan?
No.
Do you know who has?
No. I'm looking to find out who it is though. You mean Timmy Chalamet?
I think it was, he's good.
It was definitely
I know the culprit, yeah. Ask Paige. I saw, someone saw him in the elevator. No. It wasn't me.
Do you know who it was?
No, Timothy Shawway.
Timothy Shablagoo.
Did you invite Bob Dylan to our game?
No.
Do you know who did?
No.
No, if I did, I don't know.
Do you know who saw him?
I do not.
Were you the one who saw Bob Dylan in the elevator?
I don't think so.
Bryson said it was you.
It could have been. I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right, hats off Buffalo Sabres media team because, yeah, it was absolutely Tage Thompson. What are we doing here? Tage Thompson definitely has Bob Dylan if he wanted to come to a Sabres game, because why wouldn't you? You're Tage Thompson, a somewhat weird hockey guy. Hockey players are terrible liars. They really are. It's not their fault. They're just so cute and earnest. Now, to go from the world of music in hockey to now uh, hockey costumes, jerseys, sweaters, I suppose they'd be called. The Boston Bruins have released their newest sweater. Surprise, surprise, it looks pretty much just like a Boston Bruins sweater. Now, this particular one is to celebrate their what will be their 100th anniversary game. And look, I'm not a Bruins fan. They look cool. The hockey team I played for when I was in minor, the Stony Plain Bears, we more or less had Boston Bruins jerseys. That's about the extent of my allegiance to the Bruins. I can't really tell the difference between this jersey and a whole lot of other Bruins jerseys that have come out the last couple years. It basically looks like the same one they had last year for their 100th season, except the yellow is yellow and not that actual gold. So, like, cool. It's a Bruins jersey. Black and yellow look good together. Good job, Boston. Yay. I'm mostly just really happy that they haven't done the thing that so many different teams do when they release a new jersey, where they get like really in depth about the stitching on our sweater is reminiscent of the great mighty river that goes through our city, the slightly off-put gray reminiscent of the dirt upon coal miners' faces that truly represents what insert city name here is all about, and this jersey celebrates that. If you want an absolutely bonkers dive into jersey explanations, just go back a couple years and read the jersey design philosophy for the New Jersey Devils jersey. All those differently colored and weirdly shaped stripes weren't just creative choices. Turns out they had a reason. I know. It's marketing and sales speak. It's all fine. That'll do it for this episode here of Game on Hockey. My name is Graham Mosimann. A couple NHL teams in action tonight. I mean, it's any night, so it would be. But the schedule is pretty jam packed as the Edmonton Oilers head to Nashville searching for their second win of the year. The Oilers traditionally very good against the Predators, so we'll see how that game shakes out. The Devils are taking on the Senators. The Kings and the Habs are going at it, and the Canucks and Panthers will be playing as well. So all of our Game Over markets will have post-game coverage for each of those. You can just pop onto their respective YouTube channels and give them a watch as soon as each of those games are over. That'll do it for me. I'm Graham Mosimann. This has been your edition of Game on Hockey for October 17th.